When there's disagreements between employees and managers, supervisors, and that gets in the way of the flow of work. Things like that.
One of my favorite positions is when everyone's not pulling their weight and you feel like you're doing all of the work possible.
I think not having clear communication is very difficult, and so if you think that you're doing a certain role or a certain task and someone else thinks differently and then you do the wrong thing, then you end up feeling bad because you didn't realize what you were supposed to do. So communication is really important, and I know.
Failure of recognition, lack of recognition. I would say if I'm trying my best to, and this just goes with anything, if I'm working really hard, I want to really excel at the job or work or whatever it is that I'm focusing on and trying to do well, and if the person in charge doesn't acknowledge that, or she acknowledges others that I know aren't working as hard as me, that definitely upsets me. And I can honestly say
the importance of coworkers who have the same values is really important, especially when you have to work in a team. That's one thing I've definitely had issues with in the past is teammates who are just not on the same page as everyone else. So somehow creating that company culture, definitely through the hiring process and whatnot, is a big key, I think.
When I have questions and there's a support system in place that allows me to get answers to those questions so that I'm able to work efficiently and move towards the business objectives.
A really good day at work is when everyone knows what they're doing. Like Lynn was saying, everyone knows what they're doing and everyone's working on something either collaboratively or individually that's pushing towards the bigger goal of that week or that month or that company that people are.
I think I definitely agree. It's always nice to know that other people are feeling good about something, so then you also feel good about it, and I think it just increases productivity and reaching that ultimate goal.
if everyone gets along, it's really, if you think of it like this way, in the NBA, if anybody knows the NBA, the Miami Heat, LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, 3 superstars that are amazing. Common sense dictates you put them together, they're going to win a championship. But common sense doesn't always work. You can have all the talent in the world, you can put them together, but if they can't get along, they're going to fail. That's the bottom line. So the bosses and the underbosses, they should all get along. That would make that. That's not work.
I think the exact same thing. Having really good coworkers to work with, it makes it coming to work easier. It makes work easier in general. When you can rely and trust on who you're working with, it's a huge deal. You don't want to dread coming to work and having to deal with someone. You want to enjoy who you're working with. I think it makes everyone more efficient and definitely a better environment just in general.
Yes and no. Yes, by virtue of the speakers that decided to dedicate their time to come and speak to our classes, and they made a great effort to incorporate the goal of Business Ethics Week into their presentations. So, I was surprised by the amount of work that they had done beforehand, or I assume that they've done a lot of work beforehand to prepare for these presentations to make it fruitful for us. So to come in as a secondary teacher, not necessarily as a promoter of their company, but as a promoter of business ethics and why it's important for the success of their companies. So I was just surprised at the preparation. I was not taken by surprise because business ethics, I think, is something that is very important. It's integral in the success of a firm, short-term and long-term. It's integral in the success and development of a person. And so I'm not surprised that people wanted to, take time out of their day, take time out of their professional career to come and speak to us about something that is just intricately, important in the business.
We had a speaker come into my statistics class about biochemistry and the world of medicine, and he had talked about that the pharmaceutical companies have an 80% profit margin over what the cost to actually make a drug. So people are paying like $90,000 for a cancer drug, but really 80% of that is just the pharmaceutical company making that money.
A guy from Physio Control, the CEO, Brian, he came in and he discussed about their model and what they do to make sure that there's standards set for ensuring that ethical practices are followed. And he basically talked about how they really try and follow having a set contract, and so people sign it and know what they're getting into 100%. And if a company doesn't meet those expectations or won't follow through with them, then they won't sign and do business with them, because they definitely want to adhere to that. And then internally within their business, they really focus on having and hiring people that align with their vision. And I think that definitely makes sense, is if you're going to have a business and you're going to conduct certain ways, then you definitely want your employees to have that in their personal life and within the business scope as well. So it was just good reaffirmation on all of those points.
People's complete ignorance of other people's emotions. They're just really focused on their own thing, and I've been run over twice this week up the stairs.
For the most part, compared to what I heard from students last year, it's been a big improvement. Speakers have been a lot more engaging, which I think is surprising considering ethics isn't considered a engaging, interesting topic. So to see that students are actually into some of their speakers, that's a good thing to hear, and definitely was a little bit of a surprise.
And also how the idea of integrity can help people collaborate and do business in a more ethical way. And so that was the major takeaway from
that. Planning to make things ethical, and planning and working out all the scenarios that something can work into your everyday life of how you would like to be ethical, and then planning that into your career path.
Yeah, I think doing what you are passionate about ultimately will guide you to make ethical decisions, because you have a personal investment in you. So I think that definitely is something, I want to do what I want to do. And so I'm not going to compromise myself because it's a job that, is going to get me money. It's going to be a job that I want to pursue because I'm interested in the subject, or what the company as a whole is striving to do as a mission, or provide for the consumers.
Just to know how to handle diversity, know how to respect others, and basically be ethically conscious in whatever you do, whatever business endeavor you would like to achieve, and essentially always consider others' feelings before you act. Take some time to reflect, take some time to go outside the box and think critically about what you're doing. And in a nutshell, that is what I've learned thus far through
No, I think it's just one of the big things I think Ethics Week was stressing was this. Yes, we are doing an Ethics Week, but this is something to be focused and concerned about every day. And ethics just isn't facing, specific situations. It's usually the mundane actions that we think are the consequences are small, but really in the long run they have a big impact on who we are, what our reputation is, and how we affect others. So I think the biggest thing to keep in mind is the ethical decisions are happening every day, every moment, just keeping your mind aware of that. Yeah.
I think it makes sense.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I would try really hard to incorporate it in my daily life. I think help me out.
Do you think a lot of? Do you think students?
What would I say?
Yeah, what would you say to that?
I don't know. Sweet.
Would it shock you?
So I personally thank you. I stand on behalf of the student body for your time and your consideration of doing that. Thank you very much.
I would like to say thank you for taking the time out to come talk to all the students that we have here and making it known that ethics is something that is alive in the business world, and it's not just about that for-profit, get-the-money mentality. There's actually a very large section of people that do care and want to make the best world possible while earning a pretty good paycheck.
Yeah, it's good to know that there's actual humans out there versus people, cogs out there that do the business world. And this is something that, as graduates that are going to be, graduating soon, it's exciting to know that we're going to be coming into this world and that we can contribute that as well and continue that mentality and reaffirm that, like, this is something that we want to emulate and we're excited for.
It makes it kind of worth it.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
That's it.
Perfect.
SU student body, I would like to personally, from the bottom of my heart, I would like to thank Jessica Ludisher. I personally would like to thank Professor Joe Barnes, who feel that those two professors really embodied the mission of Seattle University, which essentially bottoms down to diversity. And like the message back there says,
I thank all the speakers for volunteering their time. I know they all had, I'm sure, very busy schedules going on, so to take your time and come speak with us, it means a lot, and I hope you got something out of it just as much as we did. And hopefully next year we can continue Business Ethics Week and make it a bigger and better event. So thank you again.